You are Paimon, one of the 8 kings of hell. We have looked to the northwest and called you in. We've corrected your first female body and give you now this healthy male host.
This is the final scene from Ari Aster's spectacular 2018 horror film, Hereditary, whereby the eldest son of the family, Peter, is thrust upon the mantle and possessed by the 9th demon king known as Paimon. It is also one of the most prolific and pun intended damning portrayals of King Paimon in modern times.
And ever to yours. Hail Paimon! Hail Paimon! Hail Paimon! Hail!
Welcome, Rev of the Arcane, to the Dark Primordial. I am your host, Ken Schroer, and it's no wonder why so much of modern society views demons with such repulsion and scorn. From The Exorcist Pazuzu to Hereditary's Paimon, it's easy to see how traditionally moderate or even docile spirits can find their reputations tarnished in the 21st century. For example, ancient Mesopotamia's Pazuzu, depicted in the film The Exorcist as wrathful and malevolent, was, contrarily, a wind spirit that was often invoked to protect the household from spirits like Lamashtu, who sowed discord in expectant mothers' wombs, often leading to stillbirths. Even the phrase demon, extracted from the ancient Greek daemon, simply referred to intermediary spirits and was bereft of the overarching moral assignations that formed alongside the development of major religions. So today, let's set the record straight by exploring the rich history and occultic traditions associated with King Paimon, the 9th demon king of hell. As a bonus, I'll end today's video with a fan theory as to why I believe the demon evoked in Hereditary wasn't even King Paimon, but what is commonly referred to as a trickster spirit. Light your incense, grab your favorite snack, and join me as we uncover the truth about the most obedient unto Lucifer, my patron deity, King Paimon.
To trace the origins of King Paimon, we must journey beyond the grimoires of medieval Europe into the ancient languages and symbols that shaped them. His name, Paimon, offers tantalizing clues to his enigmatic nature. Some scholars propose a link to the Hebrew word paim, meaning to strike, a term historically associated with the rhythmic striking of bells. In biblical and mystical contexts, bells are not mere instruments of sound. They are tools of summoning, heralding sacred moments, or awakening dormant knowledge.
If Paimon's name indeed derives from Pam, it adds an evocative layer to his characterization. A spirit whose arrival, like the tolling of a bell, pierces the veil between worlds, demanding attention and reverence.
Could this connection explain why Paimon's approach is heralded by the fanfare of music as described in the Ars Goetia? Music, after all, often serves as a bridge between the mundane and the divine, its vibrations resonating with the very fabric of the cosmos. Paimon's name first emerges prominently in the Ars Goetia, where he is described as one of the most powerful kings of the spirit world, commanding 200 legions of spirits and possessing unmatched wisdom in all sciences and arts. He is depicted as a regal figure, adorned with a crown, riding a camel, and surrounded by an orchestra of ethereal musicians. However, when we turn to Johann Weyer's Pseudomonarchia Daemonum, a 16th century precursor to the Ars Goetia, subtle yet significant variations appear. Here Paimon is also acknowledged as a king, but his legions number only 66, a strikingly smaller figure. Furthermore, the crown is not described as being on Paimon himself, but on his camel. These discrepancies invite interpretation. Does the Ars Goetia's grander depiction of Paimon reflect a deliberate elevation of his status, perhaps influenced by evolving views of the spirit hierarchy in the context of ceremonial magic? Or do these differences signify regional or temporal variations in the way Paimon was understood and summoned? Additionally, the Liber Officiorum Spiritum adds yet another layer of complexity. It describes Paimon's voice as harsh and grating, an unsettling juxtaposition to his otherwise captivating beauty. The text warns that one must command him to speak in a human tongue, as his native language is incomprehensible to mortals. Could this linguistic barrier symbolize the broader challenge of accessing and understanding esoteric knowledge? Perhaps it is a metaphor for the gap between human comprehension and the ineffable truths of the spirit realm. These textual variations remind us that Paimon is not a static figure, but a fluid construct shaped by the fears, beliefs, and aspirations of those who invoked him. Whether as a king commanding vast legions or a grating voice heralding forbidden truths, Paimon's legend remains an evolving tapestry, one that reflects humanity's complex relationship with power, knowledge, and the unknown.
Imagine standing alone in the silence of an endless desert. Suddenly, the stillness is broken, not by whispers, but by music. A symphony of horns, drums, and strings echoes across the sands, heralding the arrival of something or someone. And then you see him, King Paimon.
Crowned, majestic, and seated upon a camel, he is not alone. Flanking him are two generals, their forms shrouded in shadow and trailing behind them an entire spectral orchestra. This grandiose arrival reflects not only his regal status but also his audacity, a trait that has intrigued and unsettled summoners for centuries. Paimon's procession, as described in the Ars Goetia, includes not only musicians but two demon generals, Label and Abalim. Their presence further underscores his authority, suggesting a monarch whose rule extends across both hierarchical and ceremonial dimensions. But this audacity is not unchecked. Paimon is described as being most obedient to Lucifer, the Prince of Hell. This allegiance gives insight into his character. Is his theatrical entrance an assertion of his own power, even in servitude? Or does it serve as a reminder of the greater forces to which even a king must bow? Paimon's character also resonates with the jinn of Islamic folklore. Like the jinn, Paimon is a liminal figure, a being that exists between the spiritual and material worlds. The jinn are neither entirely good nor evil, and they possess immense power, often tied to natural elements such as fire and air. While Paimon's elemental connection is water, his historical and cultural association with the Middle East evokes the windswept deserts that the jinn are said to inhabit. In Islamic tradition, the jinn operate within a structure of their own, with rulers and hierarchies, much like the spirits cataloged in the Ars Goetia. Summoners of both jinn and spirits like Paimon must adhere to strict rituals and protocols, for failure to do so invites chaos. And just as the jinn often grant knowledge or power to mortals, Paimon is renowned for his role as a teacher, a provider of profound insights, though often at great risk to those who summon him. Yet Paimon stands apart from the jinn in key ways. His pale, regal beauty and crowned figure contrasts with the often monstrous or fiery depictions of jinn in Islamic lore. Additionally, his musical entourage, his camel-mounted throne, and his arrival with generals speak to a ruler of theatrical presence, a spirit whose power is as performative as it is profound. Perhaps his obedience to Lucifer further sets him apart. Though Paimon commands vast legions and possesses unmatched knowledge, he ultimately operates within a strict infernal hierarchy. This dynamic makes him a fascinating contradiction, a monarch of spirits who submits to the authority of Hell's prince. His audacity, his bold entry with music and generals, may reflect his pride as a king, but it also serves as a warning to the summoner. To call upon Paimon is to engage with a figure of immense power, but one whose authority is tempered by loyalty to Lucifer and the infernal structure. Understanding this dynamic is critical, for summoners who fail to recognize Paimon's dual role as ruler and servant risk overstepping their bounds. In Paimon, we see a spirit who defies simple categorization. His connection to the jinn, his obedience to Lucifer, and his unparalleled majesty all combine to create a figure of profound complexity. Summoning Paimon is not merely a ritual, it is an encounter with a spirit whose very presence embodies the intricate balance of power, knowledge, and submission. He is a king, a servant, and above all, a reminder of the delicate interplay between chaos and order.
Unlike many spirits in the Ars Goetia, Paimon's power lies not in destruction, but in enlightenment. He is a king of scholars, a spirit of intellectual and artistic mastery.
He governs over art, science, and the hidden mechanics of the universe. As mentioned prior, the Ars Goetia portrays him as a crowned figure, riding a camel and heralded by a cacophony of music. But these details, while vivid, invite speculation. The camel, a creature adapted to survival in harsh conditions, may symbolize the endurance required to pursue forbidden knowledge. In contrast, his crown represents sovereignty not over earthly realms but over the ethereal hierarchies of spirits. Yet, the sources diverge. In the Pseudomonarchia Daemonum, it is the camel, not Paimon, that bears the crown. Does this inversion signify a ritualistic humility, suggesting that even a king of spirits must bow before the forces of the universe? Or is it a literary device meant to remind summoners of their precarious position when dealing with such entities? The music, too, is intriguing. Rosemary Guiley, in the Encyclopedia of Demons and Devils, notes that such auditory phenomena often accompany the Theophanies or divine encounters. Could the music represent the harmony of the spheres, a metaphysical concept where divine order manifests as sound? Or does it hint at Paimon's role as a teacher, one who orchestrates knowledge like a conductor leading an unseen symphony? Additionally, Paimon's status as a fallen angel places him within one of the most enduring narratives of Western theology, the fall from grace. The Lesser Key of Solomon identifies him as a dominion, a rank of angels tasked with governing divine order. But what precipitated his fall? Was it rebellion, ambition, or an act of cosmic necessity? Rosemary Guiley's encyclopedia suggests that fallen angels often symbolize humanity's own struggles with pride and limitation. Yet there is another possibility. As Franz Hartmann speculates, spirits like Paimon may never have been angels in the literal sense, but instead represent archetypes of transformation, forces that compel humanity to confront its deepest fears and highest aspirations. Could Paimon's dual identity as a teacher and a tempter reflect the dual nature of knowledge itself? After all, wisdom can both elevate and destroy, depending on the hands that wield it. As Eliphas Levi explores in the history of magic, the pursuit of wisdom, as well as artistic excellence, often involves walking a thin line between the divine and the infernal. For the ceremonial magician, summoning Paimon is less about domination and more about partnership. He is a mentor, a guide who can unveil the secrets of the cosmos, but only to those prepared to wield such knowledge responsibly. Modern interpretations reinforce this role. Israel Regardie, chronicling the practices of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, suggests that goetic spirits like Paimon are not inherently malevolent, but rather reflections of human potential. Through ritual and discipline, the summoner seeks alignment with these archetypal forces, unlocking creativity, insight, and mastery. But there is always a price. As Franz Hartmann warns in Occult Philosophy, the summoning of spirits requires absolute clarity of intent. Without it, the knowledge Paimon offers may become a curse rather than a gift.
To understand King Paimon is to confront his paradoxes, contradictions that intertwine and create a figure that defies simple categorization.
This duality is not a flaw but a profound aspect of his nature, symbolizing the chaotic harmony of the cosmos and the unity of opposing forces. Consider his association with water, an element that traditionally represents intuition, emotion, and the subconscious. Water is fluid and formless, capable of nourishing life in eroding stone. Yet Paimon, the spirit of water, is historically linked to the arid landscapes of the Middle East, a region dominated by deserts and the harsh, unyielding sun. This tension between abundance and barrenness, between the flowing and the static, reflects a deeper truth that creation and destruction, chaos and order, are inextricably linked. His very presence reinforces this contradiction. The Ars Goetia describes him as pale and beautiful with a commanding presence. Yet he rides a dromedary camel, a creature of resilience and endurance, adapted for survival in the unforgiving desert. Beauty and harshness, refinement and ruggedness, Paimon exists at the intersection of these opposites, embodying the complexity of existence itself.
Paimon's direction is the northwest, a liminal space that bridges the cardinal points of the compass. In esoteric traditions, the northwest is often associated with transition, a threshold between the known and the unknown, the physical and the metaphysical.
It is fitting then that Paimon, a figure of profound knowledge, occupies this boundary, a ruler who governs not one realm but the chaotic interplay of all realms. Even his planetary and astrological associations mirror this unification of contradictions. While some scholars link him to the sun, the source of illumination, vitality, and authority, his elemental connection to water evokes the moon and its influence over tides, intuition, and the emotional undercurrents of human experience. Is Paimon a solar king who rules with clarity and reason, or is he a lunar guide, pulling us toward the depths of the subconscious? Perhaps he is both, standing at the crossroads of these opposing forces and harmonizing them in ways that transcend human understanding. In this way, King Paimon becomes more than a mere spirit of summoning. He is a symbol of the cosmos itself, its beauty and brutality, its chaos and symmetry. He reminds us that the universe is not governed by absolutes, but by the interplay of opposites, each force giving meaning and form to the other.
To summon Paimon, then, is not merely to call upon a being of power. It is to engage with the fundamental dualities that shape existence. It is to stand at the edge of reason and intuition, to acknowledge the desert and the water, and to seek unity in the chaos.
From ancient myth to modern ritual, King Paimon remains an enduring figure, a mirror reflecting humanity's eternal quest for understanding. His legend reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge is not for the faint of heart. To seek the wisdom of King Paimon is to embark on a path of transformation, one fraught with peril and possibility.
Thanks for watching. If you found this video enlightening, please like, subscribe, and share with others who might also be interested in exploring the ranks of the Infernal Divine with a fair and conscientious lens. Additionally, consider supporting the Dark Primordial by visiting our Etsy and Shopify stores. There you'll find a curated selection of handcrafted witchcraft and pagan accessories to enhance your own spiritual practice. From hand-poured candles to intricately painted talismans, each item is imbued with intention and power. Until next time, may you become one with your own abyss. Okay, so here's my fan theory about Hereditary and King Paimon and why I don't think that the spirit summoned in Hereditary was actually King Paimon. So, in reference to the trickster spirits I mentioned before, the sigil that's used in Hereditary is not the same sigil that we typically see in the grimoire texts around the 17th century, such as the Ars Goetia and some of the earlier grimoire texts, which reference King Paimon as not only a demon, but also a king of hell. So in Hereditary, the sigil that's used only contains, it has 3 kind of circles, they're like concentric swirls almost, but in the traditional sigil, you have 4 of them. And it's significant because sigils are incredibly important, especially when it comes to the summoning and invoking of spirits, gods, goddesses from multiple pantheons traditions. Sigils are incredibly important, especially within modernity with chaos magic and the advent of sigilcraft as being its own spiritual practice as well. So that's my fan theory. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that necessarily. It's just something that I noticed as a practitioner of magic, and I thought it was very interesting. Anyways, thank you for watching.